In today's episode of Getting Started with Ressio, we're going to go over navigating to the project settings page and cover all the information that's shared on those tabs. So to get to the project settings page, we're going to first choose a project that we want to look at. I'm going to choose the Bauman Family Beach House that we've been working on. You'll see on the right-hand column here, the left-hand column here, we've got all of our different tabs, and project details is the tab we're looking for. So we're going to click the project details tab, and that's going to open up the project settings page. So some of this information is going to look familiar as it's including information that we put in when we created the project itself. So we've got the general info tab. From here, we're able to upload a cover photo that will be showcased when clients log into the project. You can actually see the little info icons here. We'll give you some details. This is the showcased photo for the homepage of the customer's portal. Other information includes the project name, the status, the stage the project's in, which we can change from here, the type, the address information, the time zone for the project as well. We can add information into the description box here as well. I've put in some details about the project. This is a special build beach house. I put in what architect and designer we're working with, some limitations on the project, like not being able to build basements and things like that. We've got our target start date, our square footage, and again, our color for the task manager and resources tabs. This is also, as you can see at the bottom, where we would archive the project if we want to finish it out. This is something that we really only want to do when we have fully completed the project and we want to cut off all access to it. Scrolling up and going to the next tab, we have our prospects tab here. Again, this is familiar information as it's all the details that we've covered on the prospects information, but we can make additional updates here. We can see again the financials tab. We have our cost structure, markup calculations, and budget organization. You'll also see on this tab that we have our QuickBooks connection information. So this is where we can initially connect a project to QuickBooks. We'll link it up with an existing QuickBooks project. We're able to determine if we want to enable QuickBooks time tracking or sending invoices over to QuickBooks. We can set default item codes for things that don't have cost codes on them. We can choose if we want to send bills to QuickBooks or if we just want to pull those bills back, and we can put in a default billing cost code as well. This will be covered in a little bit more detail in our connecting to QuickBooks videos. Here we also have our team access. So this is where we can give additional access to other team members who aren't automatically included or who we didn't originally include in the project. So if I want to add in other team members or field users, I can give them access to the project here. This is also where we're going to be able to see our customer settings and what our customers can view when they log into the client portal. So we can determine if we want to give them access to seeing the phases and tasks, kind of the highest tier of a schedule. If we want to share all phases with them and not just the ones where they have been assigned to those phases and tasks. We can show if we want to share the Gantt chart with them or if we just want to show them more of the kind of task manager view. We can determine if we're ready to give them access to the specifications page. One thing to note is that if they do have access to the specifications page, they're also able to see unreleased selections. So they can see selections that you're working on. If you haven't finished putting all of your selections in, or if you don't want clients making decisions yet, you can always turn off their access. You can share the budget information with the client. This is generally only recommended on open book projects. As with fixed price projects, you really might only want to share the change log with the client, which would include the base project cost and any additions or overages or deductions due to change orders or selections. And then this is where you would determine if you want to share that change log with them as well. If you're giving the client access to the budget, may as well give them access to the change log. If you're giving the client access to the change log, you don't have to give them access to the budget. And here's where you can manage the access for all of the contacts within this client project. So you have the ability to add as many different contacts as you'd like to. You can determine the last time they logged in or when they signed into the system, their contact information, and you can remove clients if you need to as well. The next tab over is going to be vendor access information. From here, we can determine if we want to allow vendors to access the specifications page, or if we want to just give them access to only the specifications that they have been assigned to. So we can give them access to all specifications or just the ones that they've been assigned to. And then we can also add vendors in here as well. This is helpful if we want to just immediately give vendors access to the project in Ressio, though as we add vendors and assign them to certain items and tasks and things like that, it will automatically add them in here as well. Under the sharing tab, we have the ability to turn on or off the plan hub. So the plan hub is that kind of catch-all space where we can tag certain files and photos and documents to be linked to the plan hub. And anybody who has access to this URL, this little link here, would be able to access the plan hub. So I can simply click view plan hub, and it's going to show me this is the project that I'm working on. This is the contractor details, and these are all of the files or photos that have been linked into the plan hub. As you can see here, not too many in our plan hub. And then finally, we have this AI beta section that we're not going to cover today. This involves some of our AI templates and wouldn't be an area that you guys necessarily have access to, and it's something that we can cover at a later date. So that's a general overview of our project settings tab. Just as a reminder, you simply just have to choose a project that you're working on, click on the project details tab, and you'll have access to all of this project information. Certain number of these things can be set right at the beginning when you're setting up a project. And then, of course, you always have the ability to make adjustments here after the fact as well. Thanks.